It's been working, but now it's not. So I'm just going to use my headset.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's how I recognize you with the headset.
Little little technical difficulties.
I don't
How's it
even know.
going?
Good, good, good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Staying
Yeah.
busy. Yeah.
So busy. Everybody says December slows down. It never does for us. It
No, neither for us. It actually ramps up. Last December was our highest ever month at that time. We've gotten
okay,
better,
yeah.
but yeah, we like blew up last
Yeah.
December.
August, sometimes I'm like, we should just shut down for August. But, that could be a self-fulfilling prophecy, I mean,
There you go. I
uh,
know we've been my wife wants to go to Europe really badly. And so we're looking at just okay, when can we squeeze that in? We have like a family reunion next August for like 10 days up in the mountains in New York on a lake.
oh,
My dad's
nice.
70. Yeah, it's gonna be he got this like 17-bedroom house on the lake. It's like it's incredible. For his 70th. Yeah, trying to figure out when we can go to Europe and take some like extended time off. Yeah, have you been able to do that at any point?
Well, we're going to be closed for like 2 weeks at the end of the year, Christmas through New Year. We take, both weeks off. We're more into like the long weekends. We're
That's
still we're transitioning out of hustle mode, so there's still quite a bit of being here on the ground kind of thing. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's what our MO has been is the long weekends, like Friday through Monday.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's the least impact
Right.
on the business. So yeah, and we're starting to staff up to the point where work actually gets done when we're not here, and that's just an awesome feeling like that.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. We're like pretty much right there.
yeah. So
Sorry, I didn't put my phone on do not disturb. Let me do that real quick.
yeah, that's a good thing. Here
Yeah.
we go. I'm gonna do the same thing here.
Yeah, right. Um, yeah, we're down in Clearwater near Tampa, and so our daughter, and she's 13 now. We moved here. She was 8 or 9, and so long weekends we were like Disney almost. It was so easy, it's an hour
Yeah,
and a half
yeah,
drive. You go there and
yeah,
spend the weekend, and but she's gotten a little bit over it. She's a little bit older now, and it's expensive as hell going there.
go. Well, now you got to go to Universal.
We like Universal, but our daughter's actually not a big theme park, a big thrill ride person.
Yeah,
She won't go on any of the roller coasters, even the Disney roller coasters. She won't go on.
but what about Harry Potter?
You know what? That one, there's one Harry Potter ride, Hagrid's, and she loves it. She loves that one.
Okay.
She's so funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 You have kids?
I have a son, and he's 22, and he lives with me, which is great.
That
Uh,
is.
and sometimes not so great, I was like, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I understand that for sure.
I'd rather have them than not have them. So that's
Yeah, our daughter's 13, and it's not far away. You know, by the time she's out of high school, and what is she going to do then? She's gone to a couple of like sleepaway volleyball camps and like dorm style, and
okay.
she is not like them.
Oh,
So
really? Oh, okay.
no,
Oh,
no,
oh,
she likes her own space, especially for sleeping. Yeah,
yeah,
she likes her own space.
yeah, yeah. I get that. Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
yeah.
Um, you guys are up in New York, right?
Yeah, so we're in New York. We have two offices. One's in Manhattan, and the other is in Queens. Um, Kim, the founding attorney, is African American, and uh, there's just a large population in Queens that we serve and we love, and that's just fantastic. So we spend a lot of time in Queens and Manhattan, and the other boroughs we do by appointment. So Brooklyn, we can meet at like a WeWork or Regis or something like that, conference rooms. And the Bronx is really tough to find business services, so we meet in home up at the Bronx.
You meet in home,
In
like you go
home,
to
we
their.
do in home
Oh,
visits, yeah, for
oh, how's
people
that
that
work? How's that for you?
So, it's a very high closing rate, but you have to pick a time where it doesn't impact all the other business, So it's generally an on the way home in the evening sort of thing. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've never done in-home consults. Yeah, I can imagine that. Well, we did them when we first started because we started out of the house and it was
Yeah.
during COVID.
Yeah. Out of the house in COVID.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we started we tried virtual, right? When we were starting, Kim and I started this thing together. So we tried virtual, and that was an absolute disaster. I to the point where I questioned if anybody could ever, it's like one of these things. I tried it, didn't work. So how's anybody make it work? Facebook advertising was terrible. Everybody was just so early in their research that trying to schedule a consultation or get a sign retainer was just really, really difficult. So then we went mobile, and that was interesting. We said, "Oh, we'll meet in your home," and everybody was like, "Yeah, no, that really kind of sounds fly by night." And then we said, "Oh, we have an office in Manhattan, but we'll meet at your home." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that's great." Then
Yeah.
it was like an upgrade, right? Same thing, but presented slightly different.
Yeah, as long as you have the office, the ability for them to come there.
Right. Then they don't need to come, right? Then yeah, sure, come here,
Yeah,
come
come to me.
here. And then a lot of it happened in Queens. So now we have the office in Queens. And we outgrew our first office in Queens, and we're in our second. And I think this week we outgrew that. So we're gonna have to find something soon.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I think in home, there's a lot of sales stuff that I've read about where visiting someone in their home, you're gonna have a higher closing percentage. They feel more comfortable, right? They're in
Yeah.
their space and yeah,
Yeah. For us there it's the intent is much higher because most people are going to have to run around and clean their house before they have somebody in, and the lawyer is has a higher stature. So so I probably wouldn't. I would be like, I'm the client, but they do that, and most of the people are older, so they sort of have that house proud kind of thing they grew up with, where people actually
yeah,
did visit,
yeah,
right? Used to visit people,
yeah.
which is less often, but yeah, so it just seems like a higher intent. um,
Gosh, that's really interesting. It's making me think now.
Clean the house before. So,
Maybe it's something that we should incorporate. How far of a commute is it for you generally to get into their house?
it's generally, well, so if it's to the Bronx, most of it tends to happen in the Bronx because we don't have an office there. It would be about an hour one way. Um, so, but for those, we charge for the consult, usually, $500 for that
Mhm.
consult. So that's another thing. The intent is very high. If they're willing to lay out $500 and have somebody into their home,
They're
it's
ready to start.
yeah. You
Yeah, they're not.
usually not always, but yeah. We
How
just
many? What kind of percentage would you say?
this is it's 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. We just did one. It was amazing. A woman called. My sister's at home, but she's under hospice care, and we want a power of attorney and a will, right? And we're like, oh, our 5 o'clock canceled. We can come, and we get there, and I couldn't believe it was hospice. The woman was like bright-eyed, making decisions, talking, was able to like move money around on her phone. Like this is not typically what we think of
Yeah,
with hospice. But then they had family on the phone who started comparison shopping. They were like price shopping in front of us, and totally lose interest at that point. Like, listen, I'm here. I came same day in home. and you can get this whole thing done now. And they were like price shopping that Google says a trust should cost between $1,000 and $3,000. And I'm like, not
Get
on a
out of
home
here.
visit, not with a deed in New York, not, you know. So we made arrangements to come back the next day, and the woman passed overnight,
Oh,
right? And they could have had the will done. They could have had a will done in the time that they were like price shopping. They, they could have had the whole thing done. So, you know, it's that one was a didn't didn't work out, but yeah, no.
yeah.
And she wanted to leave everything to her sister, and now it's going to go intestate, and her sister's not going to get anything. So
Oh,
it was, you know,
what a nightmare.
but that's yeah, they're not ideal. They were, Kim says they have the consumer mentality, like they were thinking they were buying a trust. So
Right.
what's the value of the trust? They weren't thinking, this $700,000 home is now going to go to waste. Because two kids, one was 17, the other 18, I think. They're not going to be able to like carry the house, negotiate, and sell it, that sort of thing. They're at a disadvantage.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, a lot of what we're selling is, it's not the piece of paper, right? It's not the papers that we're selling. It's the peace of mind, and, knowing that what you want to have happen is going to happen,
Yeah,
right? Especially in estate planning, right?
yeah, and this is, it's different when there's a sister on the phone in Florida and you're up in New York. They don't quite get it, right? It's different. They don't really have much skin in the game, but they want to try and contribute, or I don't know. Could have been sibling rivalry. There's a lot of family dynamics that can be going on at the time. So the person in front of us, the person who was in hospice and ended up passing away, I mean, she just wanted to make sure the house went to the family, right? She doesn't want the government to get it, doesn't want it to get sold, really wants her sons to be able to live there and grow up. I mean, rents are really increasing a lot in New York. So if they could have, essentially free housing in New York, it would be great for them. But
Right.
yeah, so
Yeah, it's wild. How long have you lived in New York?
so I grew up on Long Island, which is nearby. And then when you grow up on Long Island, there's sort of two mindsets. One is I'm going to move into Manhattan. I'm going to, have a career and live there. And the other half is that, I'm going to buy the house next to mom and raise my family out on Long Island. I was the, live in New York one. So yeah, since college, I guess. So
Yeah, you've been there
yeah,
ever since, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Family still in Long Island?
No, they've all scattered now. Mom's in Florida. She's down in the villages down by
Hmm.
you. Uh,
Yeah.
and then Ohio and uh, where are the Ozarks? Uh,
Oh, is that Missouri?
Missouri. I think it's Missouri.
I think so.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Those are
So
beautiful. I want to go there someday.
it looks in the show. It looks beautiful, right?
Right? The show.
Yeah. looks beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So how big is your office right now? How many
So
employees you got?
well, I mean, you're probably talking about people, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, we're growing. So it started out with Kim and I, and so we had two
And
people working, owners' hours kind of thing.
yeah.
And we were able to get it.
What year did you guys start?
So it's about, this is our second full year. So what does that mean? 2022?
Yeah. Yeah,
Hold on. What's
2022.
okay? There's some debate about whether or not we started in 2020. What year do you think we started?
I think this was started in like 2020. I've had this practice since 2019.
Yeah.
We started full time maybe in 2020.
Yeah, we started full time in 2022. We were doing some other stuff to sort of gear up to it, I think. But this is, in terms of full time, this is our second full year of doing it. So then it was Kim and I doing, the owner's hours, which is just like all the hours. And wait, you got it.
All kinds of technical difficulties here.
Oh,
Sorry.
there you go. I don't know, where did I drop off?
This is your second full year.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's the second full year. So my son and Kim's niece would pretend to work in the firm from time to time. Uh, you know, Bria worked the phones, and my son would draft the trust. He actually pretty good. He can draft in wealth counsel. Can do some complicated stuff in wealth counsel. But now we have so we have an intake person, a receptionist, uh, a drafter. He's been with us for quite a while, and we just brought on a paralegal. And we had some of counsel, which wasn't really working out, and so now we're interviewing for an associate attorney. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys do to get leads?
So we do the seminars, right? So we send postcards from Postcard Mania. I know you're.
Oh, you started doing that.
We've been doing that for a year.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, and you know that was good. So before that, it was Google ads, which we still do, local service ads, which have really worked out well if you can answer the phones. The issue is if you get busy selling and now you have clients that you have to deliver for, it's hard to answer the phone. So if you have somebody who can answer the phones, LSA works out well for us. And Google My Business. We don't do Facebook. That just hasn't really worked out well for us.
Same. Facebook never really worked out for us. Other people are crush it on it. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
what
wonder
we're doing wrong.
Different target audience, because that sort of thing. And we're really an in-person thing. We don't do virtual consultations. So maybe I don't think it would work for us to do sort of the virtual advertising for in-person consultations.
Yeah.
So
This
seminars are about half of the business.
how
And
many
then
postcards you mail for it?
so we do 6,000 postcards a month, and I have like an A list and a B list
Yep.
to do that. The real choke point for us is the size of the conference room, right? So we have a small conference room that handles 20 people comfortably, but we put about 25 people in there, and the energy is just very high. If you can get 25 people in there, the energy just really builds. It's very good. It's very, very good to do that. So we send out a postcard and we give them 3 choices: Tuesday at 2, Thursday at 6, and Saturday at 11.
I like that.
Yeah, whiskey, wine, and wills. That's how we advertise.
Is that how you advertise
Yeah,
it?
yeah, whiskey, wine, and wills. And
Oh, I love that.
it's always like the oldest surviving widow is the one who wants the whiskey. Yeah, what kind of whiskey you got? Yeah, I'll take that. Not too much ice. Not too much ice. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
And the wine, Moscato, the sweetest Moscato we could find, they love. And if they don't go for that, it's ginger ale. That's what they want. Like the closest thing to a cocktail. Doesn't affect their medication, So,
Is it mostly what age group are you mostly getting for those?
So they're close to retirement. So 60s and 70s, I think. It's probably 65 to 75 is sort of the target. That's who comes. We do homeowners in that age range, starting with the top income, whatever fits into the like 12,000 that we got.
Yeah. And you're sending 6,000 a month. How often are you doing the seminars?
So we've been doing it once a month, and we want to double in 2025. So we'll do twice as many.
Okay. So when you give them the options, so you got 3 different days.
Yeah.
Are you counting that as one seminar
Yeah,
or?
that's one seminar, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So one mail, it goes really by mailing. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we never know which one's the busy day. Like sometimes it's Tuesday, sometimes it's Saturday, sometimes
Huh.
Thursday, but we don't. Yeah.
Yeah, we mail um
A lot, right?
60,000 a month.
Wow, that's nice. And to what demographic? Is it just like, within a radius, or do you do by age and homeowner or kids, or does any of that
Both.
play in?
Yeah, all of it. So we hit our whole county. To get from one end of the county to the other. We're like smack dab in the middle of the county, so it's kind of nice. Furthest someone would have to drive to us would be about 30 minutes to our office. But our demographic is, I think it's 40 and over with a net worth of $1 million or more if they have kids.
Okay.
If they don't have kids, then we're targeting 60 and over with a net worth of $1 million or more.
Okay.
All, we make sure that this is their primary residence. We don't want, snowbirds, people who it's their second home, obviously.
Oh, yeah, that's a consideration down there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But yeah, that's what got our business rolling in the first place. But we've never marketed it for seminars, and I've always we've only done 3 seminars.
Okay.
The first one we did was this time last year. I think it was last November. Had about 35 people, and just posting on social media and our email list. That's how we got the attendees. And we generated, I think it was around 45 grand in revenue
Okay.
from that one. And then we did another one where we generated like 20 grand. And then the last one we did, we got nothing.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a pain point because I hear, right, people like you, and I've spoken with a bunch of other
Yeah, you
attorneys.
can't imagine it work, right? It's like me with the Facebook. Like, where are these people getting virtual?
I know. This guy
Urban
out
legend. Urban legend. You get clients off of Facebook.
yeah, this guy out in San Diego is just crushing it with seminars.
Yeah.
Now, do you get them to sign up then and there?
So they sign up. So it's been like a learning curve. We went into seminars because of the issues with the phone, right? Like people don't really want to answer phones anymore, and we tend to hire young people. They text. They don't really get the whole
Yeah.
how to say hello, like is a whole training thing. So we went into it for that, and the first time we put it out, we were like, "Is anybody going to show up? Is any you hear 0.25%? I think like the postcard mania is like, yeah, you're going to get like 0.25% response rate and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we got like a 1% response rate off the first mailing, and then people showed up, and afterwards, Kim was like, "Go see Scott in the back of the room," and they got up and came to see me, and they like wanted an appointment. I was like, "Wow," it was like a real rush to do it.
That's how our first one was. It was
Yeah,
like
that's
this shit works. This is great.
This was like, oh, no phone calls, full calendar. They already know the price because we give the price. Like, this is, it was like, oh, is this going to get us to $1 million or add $1 million? We were like, it was tremendously exciting.
Yeah.
But so your question was, do we get them to sign up there? Was that your
Yeah. Do you get them to sign up and pay then, or are they?
No, so free consultation, right? They have to pick the card. We have all the appointment cards laid out with the times on them, and they gotta pick in the next 2 weeks, right? A time. We really try to get them in the next week, right?
That's smart.
To come in. No, so it's the free consults, and
And so then they come in for the consult. You have the consultation with them, and they're pretty much sold already then, right? They're already.
it's interesting. We hear all these stories of like your friend in San Diego, is going to tell you it's 90% of the units get consultations and 90% of those buy. That hasn't been our experience. We're our closing rate is more like 50 to 70%.
That's still high.
We
That's
don't,
still
yeah, people say, but I tend to measure it more by dollars, right?
yeah.
And the last one we did, we got like an 8.5x return on investment, right?
Take that
So
all day, all day.
that's, yeah, I don't, to me the conversion rates can be vanity metrics in terms of that. Like I wouldn't shut it down on a 50% close rate if you're making, $8 for everyone you spend. That's a
Right.
little bit more work because you got to do the seminar and that sort of thing. But you also don't have to answer the phones, so that's a
Yeah.
big deal. Yeah.
Right, right. Are you doing the seminar in the same location every time?
Yes. So we do it in our office.
Okay.
We do it. We were in a co-working space before, which had a just amazing technology. The two screens would come down on either side. Podium in the middle was large. It was large space. Um, we're in a small, it's a smaller conference room, but we have more room for other people. In a co-working space, we have this one little tiny office, to work out of. So we do it. We do it in the office, and our theory is that way, if we know they can come here for the seminar, then they can come here for the consult, right?
Right.
Rather than saying, we're 2 blocks down or a mile down the road or something like that. They
Yeah.
already know parking, which seems to be the key to the whole thing, is like parking here in New York. Uh, they got to have access to parking, either free parking or paid parking, that sort of thing.
And the parking situation is good where your office is.
Yeah, so for like Saturdays and Thursdays, it's free parking, and Tuesday, there's plenty of parking on the street, kind of thing. So, that works out for that. So yeah, so they come in, we offer them, whiskey, wine, or ginger ale, and some snacks. We started with hot. We had hot catered food on the first couple that we did, and it just didn't matter. Nobody wanted to eat anything beforehand. They were like, taking it home afterwards. I was like, this is crazy. So
It's a waste of time and energy to put it out.
yeah, this is the thing you don't know when you start, right? But yeah. So Milano cookies. If you're doing it, I would say put out the
I
Milanos.
like,
They
yeah,
come in 2 packs, and everybody loves them. If you want to do fresh fruit, do grapes. People love the grapes.
yeah. I,
So yeah, so then they come in, and we make them wait. I don't know. Do you want to hear this kind of detail? I don't
I
know.
want to hear, yeah, I
Like,
want to hear it.
yeah.
Absolutely. This is a big pain point for us. So we
So
need to get the seminars going. They only it makes so much sense to do them. It's like you're doing a consult to 30 people at once. It's
but
just
you never did a mailing to it.
nope, not for a seminar. Nope,
So
it's all it's
what was the tagline, or what was the
our headline is take care of your family, plan your estate. That's our
okay.
tagline. Um, can actually let me see if I can. I'll show it to you real quick. Let me just get it up. Interested to see what your thoughts are. Yeah, it's all about really getting getting people to come to book a consultation. See if I can. Well, this darn thing. Okay, here we go. All right, you see that?
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yes, this is a cover. Just take care of your family, plan your estate. Have a little offer right here. Call now, free consultation.
And
Yeah,
what's the
oh
other
wait,
side look like?
other side is.
Similar to what you send out for the 6,000, the 60,000, right? You send out 60,000.
Yeah, this is the one that we send out. This is the only
Yeah.
design that we send out. That's it.
But what was no? But when you were emailing people, what'd you tell them? You said take care of your family. That same. So that's like your tagline for the.
Oh yeah,
This is like
this
your tagline for your business.
yeah, this is the tagline for the law firm for
Law
the
firm. Yeah.
well,
Take
the
care of your
tagline for
family.
the law firm is non-stuffy attorneys. That's what we
Yeah, that's you. You own that one, man. That's
yeah, man, we're
literally right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is it's been fun. It's been
You know,
fun.
it's interesting because I know you've put that out in the groups like the non-stuffy, and
Hmm.
we are the stuffy law firm. That they're. th-
You are stuffy.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely, absolutely. Uh,
Tell me about that.
yeah, so this is like when we were doing the mobile stuff. Like we'll come to your house. People would say, "No, I want to see the attorney, and I want to see her in her office." Like they have an image of what an attorney is, right? And it's the suit and tie. Kim wears a dress or a skirt every day, which she doesn't want. She wants to wear like jeans and that sort of thing. But the closing rate just is much higher when she is much more formal looking. They want a formal, authoritative woman in that office. They want so yeah, it's and a lot of what we do is all built around it. Now, essentially though, we both do the same thing. This is the thing Kim and I, we talk about because like Joe G's the non I don't know if you mind I call you Joe G, but
You're good.
Joe
Yeah.
G Joe
I've
G
been
the
called
non
Joe G my whole life.
but we're just trying to be the dream lawyers that our dream clients are searching for, and that's essentially what you're doing with the non-stuffy, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Well,
same.
yeah, I have a decent amount of marketing background.
Mm,
Um, and so with marketing, you really need to know what buttons to push with the public, right?
yeah,
Who your public is,
yeah,
what's driving them. And so I had initially planned to do a survey, like a literal survey, go out and interview people in this basically on the street and find out, what they thought of attorneys, what they liked, disliked about them, that type of thing. Well, COVID hits, so that plan was out the window. But you know, uh, I found an even easier and more efficient way to do it, and it was reading Google reviews. And
okay,
so
yeah,
I took all these attorneys in the area, and I spent about 2 days of just reading Google reviews
totally,
and putting tally marks, on what were the common things, right?
yeah,
What did people like? What did they dislike? I read, 5-star reviews, 1-star reviews. That's what I did, just back and forth reading
yeah,
those two. And maybe it's just our area here, but what we discovered, there was three things. One was that three topics that came up, and it was kind of a dichotomy. They either liked the attorney because they had these things, or they hated the attorney because they didn't have those three things.
hmm,
One was that they were knowledgeable and professional, right? That was one. The other one was that they were communicative. They answered the phone. They returned phone calls quickly. Um, that was a really prevalent one. And then the third one was that they were down to earth. They were just like them. They were relatable. They weren't intimidating. And so I was like, okay, how can I use this? And just like, I remember my wife was in the bath, and I was like out in the dining room, like, and it just like came to me. I was like, what do you think about non-stuffy attorneys? And she's like, I love it.
huh,
And it just went from there. And and we have gotten nothing but a tremendous amount of praise for it,
Yeah.
and a ton of business. We hear it all the time. People
Yeah.
call our office like, I'm calling you because you're the non-stuffy attorneys.
Yeah. I mean, because different is better than better, right? And non-stuffy, like, well, okay, I like that. That's different, and I like it, and you're not going to get anywhere else. Done. Then,
Yeah.
yeah, you just got to not lose the business at that point, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue.
But
Um,
that's great. That's a great way to do it.
yeah, it's been fantastic. It is really, yeah, we're looking at like creating kind of a whole movement on it.
On the unstuffy. Yeah, I mean, we wish we could be the non-stuffy, but
But you are the stuffy ones.
oh my,
But
yeah,
you're not stuffy. Talking to you and all this shit
but
on.
but if you put a potential client, it's all, oh, hello, Miss Alba, how are you? Would you like a cookie, a water? It's we're there to serve them. They you know they
Now, is this with like the older generation? Like, or is it, say you get a 45-year-old couple that comes in? Are you, they come
I,
in and they're in blue
I
jeans
would
and a t-shirt. Same.
I would do the same persona. I would do
Uh-huh.
the same one. And mostly African Americans come through. Not all, but mostly. And to have somebody who looks like me, serving them cookies, goes a long way, right? They typically think I'm going to be the lawyer, but so no, that for us that that works. I don't know that it would work, down in Florida, but it's who you want. That's
Yeah.
we're just the dream lawyer for our dream clients, and that's how we do it for that.
Yeah. I mean, look, when you identify who your clients are, who your public
Yeah.
is, who's going to be your clients, it's like, a,
So is there to your postcard? I think I might be able to help you with that if you.
yeah, go ahead.
So our headline for the postcard is, "What happens to your house when you die?" Like,
Okay.
we go right between the eyes, man. They're just afraid they're going to lose the house. Most of them are, they're afraid they're going to lose something. They're We thought when we went into it, everybody needs an estate plan, and they wanted to be like the family hero. We're trying to promote this idea of getting an estate plan so that you're the family hero. It's the last thing they're going to remember about you. And that hit a little bit, but not really between the eyes, kind of thing.
So the headline, what would you suggest for the headline here?
What's the problem that most of your clients solve? Like, what's the thing they're afraid to say, but they can say it to you? What is it, Ashley? What's
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah.
But they tell Ashley when the door's closed and it's a confidential meeting. What do they say?
That's a good question.
Right. That's the that's the thing I would try. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but for us, they're afraid that their kids are not going to work as hard as they did, right? And build the life that they have, which is pretty common with people saying this about millennials and Gen X. So they have a vulnerable family member. It's usually one or more vulnerable family members, and they're not going to be able to keep the house. Like I just described at the home visit, right? They have two 18-year-old kids, and a house that they can't afford, right? So they work their whole life to get that house. What's going to happen to it when they die? And they get that the house is a proxy for all of their stuff.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
your headline is, what's going to happen to your house when you die?
Yeah, what happens to your house when you die? Yeah. You might try, like, what happens to your family when you die next time. But that's what they're worried about. And they're losing, like when they come in, they're really losing sleep about it.
Huh.
It's sometimes it's interesting, like, we've had people come in and they're like whispering, oh yeah, my brother, and we're like, confidential, what's going on? It's a safe space. And they're like, oh, my brother's an alcoholic. And we're like, well, everybody's got a brother who's an alcoholic, right? Doesn't everybody have a brother who's an alcoholic? But to them, that's a source of like guilt and shame, that,
Yeah.
but,
So
yeah,
wait, so you have, okay, you have your headline, and then is it on the front page that you're saying, okay, we do a seminar, or is that on the back page of the postcard?
we have it on both sides because I don't know which side they're going to see before they throw it out.
Yeah.
And it has Kim's picture on it, and it has the 3 dates prominently displayed. So when you look at it, it's what happens to your house when you die, and then there's 3 dates and times on it, and the location. So we go straight for it, but take care of your family and plan your estate, or from this it might be what would happen to your family if you
Right.
don't plan your estate.
Yeah, you're making me think. I like, I think it's more of a button, right? What would happen to your family, right? This is kind of like, yeah, you make them the hero. But I think I like what you're saying better.
Well, they say pain is twice as motivating,
Right.
And this really hit home for me. I woke up one day and like my leg was hurting. I had pain in my leg, and I went to stand up and I had back spasms, and I had never had this before. And my mother had back spasms, and I was like, I can't go through what she went through. It was just terrible. Going from sitting to standing was just incredibly painful. And I prayed over it, and it went away. It was a pretty, to me, it felt like miraculous. But when
Yeah.
I woke up the day without pain, I was just like, this is phenomenal. Like, wow, no pain. This is great. I'm going to be able to park the car and walk to work and carry my computer. Like, I'm not going to have this is fantastic. And that's sort of what I think a lot of clients feel like after they get their estate plan, right? Wow, now I don't have to worry about Johnny, losing his disability, or,
Yeah.
something like that. Or, my sister, raising my son and my kids under the wrong religion, that kind of thing, if they got that.
Yeah. And
So
when you look at it that way, it's like, especially for like legal fees, it's like, what would you have paid to get rid of your pain?
yeah, and
You would have paid a lot, right?
pay a lot to get rid of the pain. How much we pay to become the family hero? Well, I might shop that one around. I thought that was great. I thought everybody's going to like that. That's the whole thing. Like, you're sitting in the bubble and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. And it worked, for some, but it just wasn't really the crowd pleaser that we were expecting.
Where do your rates stand comparatively?
So we're always moving them around, right? My target. So for the seminars, to go back to the seminars, one of the problems that we found is we would put the prices out there, and people would sign up for the consultations, and then they would cancel them, right? And I decided, I'm just going to call them and ask why, right? Like, I don't care what the reason is, just please help me out. Why? And they all said, my friend said the price was a ripoff. They got theirs for less, right? So, we went back and forth with this. So my target, so then we put like a loss leader. We have 3 tiers, and there's a bottom one for 2,500, which is the loss leader price here in New York. There's a bunch of people who say they'll give you a trust for 2,500, but it doesn't. It ends. It's all outright distribution, no deed, right? There's no funding. It's good for some people, but it's not what you want. Everybody needs. So we were at 5,500 plus 2,000 for a deed. So most people, it was 7,500, or a little more if it's married couple, that sort of thing.
So that would be for 5,500 for an individual plan.
55. Yes, that's for an individual, and another 1,000
Then
for a married plan.
Yeah, that's what we're at.
That's it.
Yeah. Does that include directives and
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
all that.
Yep.
Not not an Ashley directive though. I mean that the power to. I want another $1,000 if I'm putting that thing out. Wow,
That,
that's
it's
impressive.
it's beefy, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's something. I think the power of attorney in New York, the standard, statutory one's like 7 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's actually a selling point for us.
yeah, I'm sure.
You,
That it is. That's
yeah, people come in, they have a power of attorney. It's like we'll say to them, during the consult, like, um, most we'll say most estate planning attorneys will give a power of attorney that has between 7 and 10 pages, and they're okay. But we also practice elder law, so we're looking for the long term, right? And ours is 30 pages, and so we kind of position ourselves against them a bit, right? It's like, hey, we're a little bit better, just because of it, right? Like our
yeah,
power of attorney is gonna grant a lot more than their wimpy 7-page one.
yeah. And power of attorney, is an entry point for a lot of people. They want
Yeah,
dad, they want dad's power of attorney because he's slipping, he's losing his marbles, and then you upsell him into the rest of this stuff. So if you have a strong offer for power of attorney, then it makes the upgrade, easier maybe.
totally makes sense. So at the seminar, you're telling him it's 2,500 for the trust. Is that right?
So we do things. It's a little bit different. We and this is a personal thing. If I could just wax a little bit personally,
Yeah.
I think lawyers have lost their way a little bit, um, because when it comes to like drafting a trust, I teach some attorneys how to draft trust, how to use like wealth counsel, that sort of thing. What does a uni trust mean? Because a lot of people get stumped on that. Because I drafted all the trusts for a year, and I think it's easy, especially if you start a firm and you have to make payroll and rent and anything else, to think about what you're doing is selling trusts. But a law license actually allows you to sell advice. That's the real difference, right? Because Rocket Lawyer can sell a trust, but they can't sell advice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we tend to position things as, what problem do they solve? So for 2,500, you're going to avoid probate, right? And most people know the evils of probate. They've gone through it, and we do a pretty good job of scaring the bejesus out of people on probate. In New York, it's horrible. I don't know how bad it is in Florida, but it's really bad in New York.
Depends what county here, but yeah.
Yeah, and then so then the middle tier is it's a bloodline trust. This is where you have the continuing trust, and that keeps your assets secure and safe for multiple generations, and then protect your vulnerable heirs. And then the third tier is the Medicaid pre-planning, right? So that's if you think you're going to need medical care and you don't want the government to take your house, kind of thing. So we do it more along the problem solving, as opposed to this is a trust and this is a trust with continuing trust, that sort of thing. How we position it. So a probate beater, it's just a trust that's going to get it through probate. It's going to happen in a couple of weeks rather than a couple of years, which is what probate runs in New York City right now. It's about 2 years.
Oh my God.
Well, there's a 7-month. So after you get everything filed, right, there's a 7-month waiting period after you get letters. So that instantly makes it a year. And if you want to do, I forget what they call it, voluntary probate or whatever, you have to have under $50,000 and no real property. And most people, if they have that, then they can breeze through in a couple months. But yeah, so, and the thing is, the family tree is just brutal. You have to track down all the living people with the waivers. You got to get death certificates for the deceased people. It's a really big deal, and a lot of people can't track down cousins and what. I couldn't track down my cousins. It would never happen. So yeah, so the first thing is the probate beater, and that's like 2,500. Then the middle tier, this has the continuing trusts that have the asset protection and that sort of thing. And we tested the last time we did it. We lowered it from 55 to 45, and it was a much easier sale. It was a big difference. Again, this is, you think of things in a bubble, right? And then you think it's going to work. So 5,500 was great. I figured, well, everybody's going to expect to spend about $5,000. If you ask somebody what do you think a trust is, about $5,000. So make it a little bit higher, right? And then you go, well, it's the law firm I really want. I'll pay a little extra.
Yeah.
But then it was Kim's idea. She said, she wanted to bring it down. She wanted less no's is basically what she wanted. And so we put it to 45, and then it was just under the 5,000 that they wanted to spend, and that was just much easier for the wives to convince their husbands. It's under 5,000. So the close rate went up when we lowered it that much, and revenue went up. And the deeds are expensive. How much do you charge for a deed in Florida?
You said 2,000, right?
We charge 2,000, which is about half of a closing.
Yeah, we're at 950 is what we charge for a deed, and we're even a little bit high.
So it's interesting. We had somebody that was moving trust from LLC to LLC and that sort of thing. So I called a title company, and they price it different because there's the deed, which is like the 2-page deed. Most people know the quit claim. And then in New York, there's a bunch of tax documents that have to be filed that show that, it's going to a family member or, this sort of thing. There's affidavits for smoke detectors. You have to sign an affidavit when you buy the house that there's a smoke detector in the house, this sort of thing. So we just say $2,000, and we never mention all those other documents. But if you go to a title company in New York, they're going to say, oh yeah, the deed's, $200, and all this other paperwork is $500. And then it's, times 2 to record it, right? That they separate out the prep from the recording and the deed from the supporting document. Like they
just nickel and dime it.
They nickel and dime it, but it just shows that there's more. I think New York is more complex than some other states.
It sure sounds like it's more complex than what we're doing. Yeah.
So so it's 2,000 for the deed. Still profitable at 2,000.
Yeah.
So
at the seminar, so at the end you're given the price, right?
We give them the price, yes.
Okay. And are you like explaining those different tiers to them at the seminar?
Yes. Well,
okay.
They will, why you want to avoid probate and why you would want to continue, the trust and why you would want medicated. That's all laid out during the trust. That's like, we're not explaining that at the end. It's
right. But it's like so at the end you're like, okay, here are the 3 prices.
Yeah.
Essentially, okay.
Yeah. Here's the 3 prices.
And then, do they include directives?
Yeah. So, and we never mention that in the seminar. We say it includes the auxiliary documents, but that comes. So they're going to get the pour over will. They're going to get the power of attorney, the New York power of attorney, the living will, the HIPAA, and I might be missing a document in there, right? Yeah.
Okay. So that'll. Yeah, we've only done. So our seminars, we start out going over all the directives.
Do they care? I mean, Ashley cares. I mean, she's got the 30 or 70 page or 100 page, I mean, it's real like.
Yeah, she's very passionate about that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that's maybe.
I know the living will pushes some buttons. You
Yeah.
talk about the girl down here that was on life support for like 15 years. I'm drawing a blank on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll talk about that. But you guys don't, huh?
So we start out, it's Kim tells a story about, all the children sitting around the table, asking when they're going to get their inheritance from dad, because dad did very well. Broke the color line, was the first conductor on Southern Railway, he did good. But when he passed away, there was no money. There was no money for any, and nobody was saying anything. So where did it go, kind of thing. And then she has a autistic son who lives in a residence. So he can't receive any money because he'll lose all of his government benefits, which are way more valuable. He's got a whole team of people who care about him and, this sort of thing. So we start with that, and that resonates with people. That the story with her dad and losing the inheritance, really resonates with people. And the having vulnerable kids who, can't receive or manage the money, that's on the other end of the spectrum. So those are sort of two people we're trying to hit. And they're true stories, and it's very authentic. So, at that point, she probably could just say, if you want an appointment, go see Scott in the back of the room, and people would go and do it. No, but then she goes through, what happens if you die with a will, or if you don't die with a will, how a trust works, the signature replacements, this sort of thing. And then
So that most of the seminar is focused around probate and the trust and will, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'd say probably our seminars have been mostly geared the other way around.
But and why did you do it? Is that what people come in requesting? Is that like their big question?
No. We were basically copying somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an attorney over in Tampa who mentored us. He's killing it. He does really well at seminars too. We went and watched one of his, and we essentially just duplicated what he was doing.
Yeah, there's a guy in not Utah, it might be Arizona, Utah, cowboy country, right? Todd, and he's really big in Medicaid. He does applications and the pre-planning and that sort of thing. But what gets people into the office is the power of attorney. That's, people want the power of attorney over dad because dad's, slipping. And then once they come in, they explain what's going to happen when dad passes away, and then or goes into assisted living and gets them from there.
So that's the button. That's
his
the button
audience.
for his. Yeah, that's a button
Yeah,
for his audience.
for his audience. For us, I mean, that would be a disaster because people would come in and say they want $100 power of attorney.
Right.
The Notary Public should be doing that seminar, because a lot of people call the notaries out here, and the Notary Public will bring the form to have them fill out. So, yeah, it really depends on what's the question. I would, ask Ashley, what do they say once the door closes and they know it's confidential? What do they whisper?
I know, man. As I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm embarrassed. First of all,
Why?
as a marketing guy,
You're crushing it. What are you talking?
Well, I'm embarrassed because you asked me, what is the thing that they won't talk, that they'll talk to Ashley about, they want to. That's like, and I'm like, shit, I don't know, and that's the shit I need to know.
Yeah.
And so we've probably rested a bit on our laurels with the postcard design that we have, because it's been effective, but is it really producing at a high enough level? Could it be better?
Yeah, and but I'm in sort of the same thing. My first postcard, worked. What happens to your house? I haven't changed it in a year, because the first one was like more than 10x. I mean, it was, we were just, I can't tell you how great that felt, that people were like coming, they want to get in, arguing over Saturday appointments in front of me. Like, this is, The emotional rush was great, but we haven't really changed it up. And I'm always like, I should split test it. Oh, what if the split test doesn't work? Am I going to lose out? It's so
We
we
did
all go
that.
through all of
We
that.
did that. Postcard Mania. They were like, hey, let's really just let's create new postcards for the different age groups, the different demographic. Let's
Right.
let's really, and it flopped like hell. And I said, the heck with this.
Did you do a
And
whole mailing or did you do like a port? Because at 60, you could just test it with
yeah, we
one
did
tenth
it.
of it, right?
No, I think I printed 120,000 of them, maybe 180.
Okay,
Yeah. And
and then
yeah, we
flop.
tried it
Yeah.
for like 3 months, and the
And then,
phone,
so you
the
went back
calls.
to
Yeah.
success. So that one's validated then. I mean,
Right.
right?
Y-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think there was like 40,000 of those cards left that were still printed, and I said, throw them out. We're not,
oh yeah, wow, that's but yeah, it's once you become an expert at something, you forget what the pain was like when you were searching for the answer. Like once you
right.
get the answer, you're just so focused on that, and that's why there's masterminds and calls like this, right? Iron
Right.
sharpens iron. That you pull back a little bit and you're like, oh yeah, maybe, but
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about that the other day, and I think it's been, you know, a big contributor to our success is, we bring in about 75 grand a week on average. That's generally.
how many people would love to have that this year? Like, yeah, but you get it. I think you get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But last week, our work week runs from Monday through the end of Sunday, and it was on must have been late Wednesday, and our income was at like 55,000, and I was like, I was anxious
Yeah.
about it, right? Like,
Okay.
this is not fucking okay. We're about to start a Thursday. Towards the end of the week, we're at like 55,000. This is not okay. It needs to get up. And
Mm.
like, what the hell? What are we doing, right? Like, and so start cracking the whip a little bit. But like, that amount of money that's paying our bills at 55,000. That's making, we're paying our bills. We're everything's fine,
Yeah, you're
right?
okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's
You're okay.
fucking
Yeah.
fine. But it's like, okay, now it's like, what do we need to do to get to the next level? Right? It's like, okay, we're averaging, 75 a week, but we can't average less than that. We can't average 70. We can't continue to average 75. We got to do more than that, right? It's constantly like this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
got to keep going up. And it's probably a little bit of a never satisfied, I guess.
It's really easy to slide backwards. It is, and especially if you're paying for advertising, a down month can, really hurt you if
Yeah,
you're paying a good chunk in advertising. Um, because then it's a down month and you have to increase the significant amount of money. Like, so I think it's definitely a legitimate concern, and nobody wants to, plateau or go backwards because it's just too easy to fall off the cliff.
right.
Um, but yeah, it's but you're doing one county. Can you open an office in another county?
Well, we do estate planning basically in Pinellas County.
Okay.
Um, a lot of our business also comes from probate and Medicaid planning. And that we market to the entire state. So most of those are not local to us.
Okay.
We've kicked around opening up another office, and logistically, it's a little bit of a nightmare to me.
I yeah, you should, yeah, I get it. Unless you have an up and running staff that you could move there,
Right.
right? And like, which you might have, because
We
you
have
have,
20 employees.
yeah, but you have a non-Ashley lawyer, right? You have
Yeah.
another, yeah.
Yeah.
So either Ashley goes to the new one, and the non-Ashley stays there with you. You make sure that that place is, running. But even for, our counties are very small, right? The boroughs are really
Right.
small, but people do not want to cross the line.
Right.
Queens does not want to leave Queens. Brooklyn will go to Manhattan, but they prefer Brooklyn. Manhattan's, they're not going to go anywhere other outside of Manhattan. They got to, you got to be either uptown, midtown, or downtown. They don't even want to go there. And the Bronx is, forget it.
Yeah.
So I get it. And it's really, if somebody calls and they say they want to meet in Manhattan, we pick a blank day on the calendar, and that then becomes Manhattan Day, right? And now we got to drum up enough business to
make it
make
worth
being
it.
in Manhattan for the day, right? And that's, but that's just because we need another attorney,
Yeah.
which is not easy. I got, that's like hiring is the bane. Once you got 20 people, you probably went through 50 people to get
Oh,
those 20,
oh
or
my
more.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's such a process.
Even if
And
you're good at it, there's just too many variables and you're dealing with people, it's,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had hires where I was like, this person is amazing. She's
we're
it.
saved. We're
Yeah, it's
saved.
great. Get here and they're like, this person is terrible.
Yeah.
They don't do any work,
Yeah.
or they start drama or something like that.
They need more training. They need
Yeah.
more training. No, that,
y-
yeah. Love to do this, Joe, but you got to train. You don't want this to fail. I'm the tip
Yep.
of the spear here. You can't, you don't want that dull.
But we've learned from those mistakes. We've kept people around too long in certain times.
Yeah.
Y-
We,
And they're just like a cancer, brings the whole group down. Yeah. And so
yeah.
now it's like we have, you feel bad. You hire somebody, they now have a job, maybe they have kids,
Or if you
right?
pull them out of a job,
Right.
that's the heartbreaker, right?
Right.
And you've
Uh,
done, yeah,
yeah. But you know, we're not a charity,
yeah. Nobody
and
eats if the place goes under,
right,
right?
right.
Nobody.
And if you're over there screwing up documents, or you're being a jackass in the office and you're upsetting people and you're not returning client calls, you just, you're a liability, and I'm going to pay you to be a liability. Like,
Yeah, can't.
get the hell,
Yeah,
yeah. But you can recognize that very quickly. It doesn't take very long to recognize that someone's not going to be a fit,
yeah.
and you just got to get rid of them. Just got to, sorry.
It's all the emotional side of it, right?
Right.
The intellectual side, but because it's hard on the team. Like if there's periods where you have a revolving door because a couple bad hires,
I don't know
people,
if it's hard on I don't know if it's hard on the team though,
yeah,
because
yeah. They
no,
they're not afraid they're next.
no, I don't think
Well,
so.
that's good. Then you have a good
Yeah,
culture. Yeah, that's
I
good
th-
culture.
I don't think so. Because we'll hear from them. They'll give us the feedback. Like, this person doesn't know. This person doesn't know
Oh,
what they're
really?
doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
then you got
It's
buy-in.
actually been the opposite when we've kept people around longer, is where they've gotten upset.
Wow.
Like, what are we doing with this person? What are we doing? And you know, people stop
Yeah.
like giving them work to do. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
the new person, like, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, I don't have any work. I'm like,
That's a real sign. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Nobody's, yeah. Because everybody's got too much. They love to share.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's got too much work.
Did you ever imagine how much work it was and how expensive it was to run a law firm? Did you ever imagine just the amount of paper we go through and toner? I'm like, this,
Yep.
This is insane.
It, it
The real estate, the desk, everything's got to look nice. There's no cutting corners. It's yeah, people. Yeah,
yeah, it's funny. I was telling you about the anxiousness that I have with the
yeah,
income,
yeah,
and the amount of money that we have to make in a week is high, right? To pay pay payroll, handle the marketing, the
yeah.
building's expensive, like pay everything, right? It all it's high.
Right.
But when we started, it was low, but when we started, it was high for us at that time, right? And so that has just like constantly, as the income's gone up, other things have been added to it, and so it's still,
Still a thing. You
yeah,
know, for other, well, because we started, with the mobile and stuff. So, I think the biggest expense was like wealth counselors, something like that, right? Which was
yeah,
still pretty low. So, and anything we made was almost all profit. It was all variable cost, right? We only had to spend when we actually sold something, right? And then it shifts, right? From, it's everything you sell, when you make a sale, it's sort of like extra money. And then once you start getting a physical location and advertising, you know, that's the point where you have to sell X number of trusts to, or solve X number of problems, in the way that I would say, in,
yeah.
in order to stay in business. And, once you start hiring people and you have to make payroll, I think everybody's faced a month where they're like, wow, something's got to happen here. We're risking payroll, because they all got to get paid first. That's
Hmm.
uh,
Our were we really, there was a turning point for us, and it was when we got an SBA loan. We got an SBA loan for $350,000, and
was that
that was
COVID or
no,
no?
no, we
Okay,
missed out on that because we opened in May of 2020, so we got no COVID relief. We were just fighting upstream the whole time.
okay, yeah,
Um, but yeah, in the beginning of 22, we got a $350,000 SBA loan, and I instantly put 50,000 of it to postcards. We had already been doing postcards, but I put 50 grand to it, started
yeah.
mailing 30,000 postcards right then, and things just took off right
Oh,
then. And
that's great. Yeah,
yeah, it
I
was like, it was breathing room. It was like, I didn't have to worry about, the marketing. It was like, okay, I can do it, right? I can push the envelope. If we have a down week, I can pump more energy towards it. Um, I don't have to worry about payroll. Like it was just, I said I have that anxiousness about,
yeah, yeah.
um,
The absence of pain,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The absence of
exactly.
the, yeah. It's
Exactly. And then we hired Stephanie, and she was a game changer. She's our COO. We're transitioning her over into full-time sales in the beginning of the year. But having her, she built up the whole probate department. Ton of revenue comes from that. Yeah, and we wouldn't have hired her if I didn't have that protection there.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before the loan, would you get like, when we started doing the postcards, like, because it's like 4,000. If you got to buy the list, maybe it's $5,000 to do the mailing. But you're
Yep.
spending that a month before the event, right? Like, did you ever have any anxiety about the mailing, like that you're spending ahead?
Uh, no, no,
No,
I
no.
didn't.
You always are confident that was gonna.
Well, I had worked for Postcard Mania.
Yeah, I think I had heard you mention that before.
Yeah, I worked for Postcard Mania, and so I saw what was successful and was unsuccessful for people. And I truly, before I worked for Postcard Mania, I was in real estate out in California, and we did a mailing of like 250 homes. I was like, this is a lot of postcards. And of course we didn't get any business from it. But I was like, this is a lot. So had I not worked for Postcard Mania and gone through it, I wouldn't have really understood what it took. And when we first started, we mailed either 4,000 or 6,000 all all a batch at once, and we got a decent amount of calls that all came in.
Yeah.
And I was still working at Postcard Mania at the time we started, when we did the
Okay.
first mailer, and I spoke with someone there because the phone stopped ringing. Right, we mailed them all at once, and we got an influx of calls, and then for the next 3 weeks we got nothing.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, spread them out." Yeah, spread them out. And so that's what we started doing. We mail them out, weekly now. Mail
Okay.
15,000 a week. Yeah, this
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, that's yeah. But that's yeah. I remember the first, because that was the first big chunk expense we had to put out, was like doing the mailers ahead of time, and
And that can be a little nerve wracking, right?
getting
You're
a
like,
venue,
is it?
because we had to reserve a venue back then at a co-working space. We had to pay for all of that, ahead of time, months ahead, if we wanted to have like a 3 month, do 3 months. But yeah, it was a real leap of faith when we were first doing the mailers. And luckily, it worked great from the beginning. But even the first few were like, okay, well, it worked. Do we exhaust the list? Do we burn out the list with one mailing? It's like all that
Yeah.
anxiety comes up. So yeah.
Yeah, so you're doing them in your office now, huh?
Yeah, yeah. When we opened the office, we bought 30 matching chairs on wheels, so we can move them around. And where we do the seminar, that's our waiting room, because we had the TV in there. We put people in there,
Hmm.
serve them their cookies, water. So
We're in our space is it's about 4,500 square feet,
that's
and
a dream.
it's it's U-shaped, and so they come in through the entrance is right on one side of the U, and it loops around,
Yeah.
and the entrance used to have a big open space. We had one large conference room, one small conference room, but those are not for a seminar. But that open space is where we did our first seminar,
Okay.
and it was great. But since then, we've had to build out. So we built 2 more conference rooms and a few more offices. So now we don't have a space to do seminars. But we're on the second floor of the building. We take up half of it. The other half is vacant. And I literally just emailed them, the building, yesterday saying, "Hey, what are you looking for that space?" So
Yeah.
now I'm like,
Yeah.
it's expensive. It's expensive. So I'm like, shit, do I want it? But now you got me thinking about the seminars.
But do you have to? Well, you're really on like a mass scale, right? Like, so how many people do you have available to do the consults after the seminar?
How many people could we have do the consults? 1, 2.
Like, because that's probably going to be your get. Like, if you had 400 people show up, and that's like 200 units, 220 units, or something like that. And if half of them, so like if 100 units signed up for consults, how many people do you have?
I
Like, do
know
you
they
really
they
need to
would.
do that? That would be my question. Like, could you?
Yeah, we probably need to scale it back. We probably have to test the water and see,
Yeah.
mail, 10,000 cards or 15,000 and see what we get from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
you're
think
getting 30 from 6,000.
that
Are
we're
you, are
getting.
you, is each seminar that you put on the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, each one, are you getting about 30 people in them?
No, no, it doesn't. One of them will be like 30 people, and then one will be like 15 people, and another one will be like 10 people. Uh we get about 1% response rate, so we get about 60 people who sign up.
Yeah,
But those 60 people aren't always who shows up, right?
right.
Like, some of them are no shows, and then the people who come, they bring people from like surrounding counties. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great
Are,
that they
are
do
you
that.
asking them to RSVP?
We do, but you know, it's we're very, very loose about it. We're
Yeah.
very loose. What we're gonna do next time is we'll have a TV out in our reception area and where we work. And if you come late, you know, you can watch it on TV while it's in the next room, is what we'll do. But do you have like a 10-person conference? How big is the big conference room?
Big conference room has a table for, it's 6, but you can put 8.
But if you
But
took that table out, how many seats could you get in there?
man, it's a big table.
No place to put it in the meanwhile,
No.
or get it out of the room. Did you build the room around it? Sometimes people build the room around it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but you know,
Yeah, it's like 2 sides. We have 2 sides, so there's conference
yeah.
rooms on each side, a hallway that goes between them.
What if you put on your card, right? I think you'd get a higher response rate if you put an event, because then there's like a date, right? They can't procrastinate past that date. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if you put on your card, you know, call and ask about our Saturday seminar, right? And let 10 people sign up for a Saturday seminar. One, you know, if
Yeah.
Saturday, whatever day works for you, but Saturday,
Right.
if I had to pick a day, I'd probably pick Saturday.
Is that where you get the most?
So we can't predict it. It's usually not Thursday night, but it's usually either Tuesday at 2 or Saturday. And it changes. If it was only one, I would just do one day. You know,
Yeah.
3 seminars a week. You know, it's kind of a pain. Uh, it's a bit of a pain. But yeah, I'm just wondering if there's a like. Well, you're used to spending big numbers, like 60 mailing, you know, for a seminar would scare me a little bit because of the numbers I'm used to. But
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you're still working out the seminar and the consults change after the seminar, because now you don't have to go over everything. They're already pre-educated. So you can streamline the consult, and they may not even have the patience to wait through all that stuff if they've already sat through the
Right. Yeah.
thing, right? So maybe just try it with a smaller group. And I'm spit, but this might not even be a problem that you have that needs to be fixed. I'm just, you know,
Yeah. No,
spitballing,
it would be a problem. It would,
you
if
know,
we got a huge influx of people who needed estate
yeah.
planning consults, it would be, yeah, it would be a little bit of a problem for sure.
Because
Because we
next year,
have
yeah,
our Medicaid calendar is jam packed. Same with probate.
yeah,
You know, we're doing um,
yeah,
8 to 12 probate consults a day,
yeah.
right?
Maybe test the water with just ask about our Saturday seminar.
Yeah.
You know, what was the headline we said? Family. What'd you say? Save. What is it? Protect your family,
T-
protect your asset. Well, what is
yeah,
it?
take care of your family, plan your estate is what we have now. But
Yeah,
I got to find out from Ashley what the real button is.
but yeah. So I don't know. It looks like this might be some room on your card. Maybe put a little circle. Ask about our Saturday seminar.
Yeah, I like
Reservation
it.
required.
Yeah.
Like 10 people, you'll get it. I don't know. I don't know. But that's
But now, but in regards to that other space that's open, it's got
yeah,
me,
yeah, yeah.
you know, I started thinking about, okay, these seminars, right? We're already like, we're already bursting at the seams in our own offices. Many, you know,
Yeah.
I have our social media girl is, you know, in the desk behind me. She's only here for a couple hours a day, but there's a few offices that are single person, but most of them are shared. And we're just like, but we're only going to get bigger.
Yeah,
And
you'll fill the space, you know,
right.
that's, you know, that's that's the thing. Yeah, you'll definitely fill it without a problem.
Yeah. And I saw someone checking out, they got a little tour of the space the other day. So I'm like, shit. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that happened. But wow, that's nice. So that'd be like 9,000 square feet.
yeah,
That would be just awesome. That's
it's a lot.
can't even remember. What do we pay? I'm not even sure what we pay here. What, $50 a foot? I don't know. What's
50 a foot? Are
yeah.
you serious?
Is that a lot or a little?
Oh my God. So that space over there, she said 16 a foot.
Yeah, my sister has a pharmaceutical company in Cleveland, and they pay 3. And it's I mean, and it's gorgeous. It's nicely laid out, and
Yeah.
all, yeah, 3.
Yeah, this place is amazing. The building, the managers are fantastic. One little thing is wrong. I text her and she's here within 10 minutes to fix it.
Yeah.
And bathrooms are super nice. Um, yeah, we have
Yeah,
all this glass
yeah,
windows and
and that's yeah. So
50. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
50, and that's on the the common space, right? Like, so if your space is 1,000, they charge you for 1,200 because of the common area and whatnot. And you're paying 50 for the 1,200 or what? Yeah, it's
Oh my goodness.
yeah. New York. That's why people are like, oh, you get 5,000 for a trust and 2,000 for a deed, but the cost, it's not the same. If you're in Kansas, you could be doing really well with less revenue, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Wild. Completely separate note. Have you seen any drones flying around up there?
No, I haven't. And they have all these. They had all the mayors of New Jersey at meetings and to explain it to them, and they told them people are reporting stars as drones. And you see the video; they got the blinking lights, But
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not.
no, that's
I've seen a bunch of videos. And none of them are like that's a star.
star. But they say they're much bigger than normal drones.
Yeah, like
But
the size of cars.
they would, yeah. So I don't know, military. I think it was nefarious to be running without lights. I don't know, maybe, but they're really not trying to hide it. Whoever's flying it is
Right.
not. There's no secrets here that they're doing it. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's wild. It's wild. It's a yeah, very wild situation. It's like, what's going to happen with this? Where's
yeah.
this go?
So do you stay open for the holidays? What happens at the office?
Yeah, yeah, we'll be open. We'll take off. We're going to close a little early tomorrow. Well, I say an hour early to have a little party,
Yeah,
do like a little gift exchange, and then we'll close at 1 o'clock on Christmas Eve. We'll take Christmas Day off. We'll be closed for New Year's Day, and
that's it.
that's it.
Business as usual.
Yeah,
Business as usual. Yeah, oh, that's
you gotta pay
great.
them bills.
Yeah. It shifts, it shifts from wow, we're making money at it to, oh man, we got to
We
make
have
the
to make
nut.
money.
It it
Yeah,
it is a real different view. It changes a lot of perspectives.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you're really not charging that much for the trust. It's yeah,
Right. Yeah, yeah. Look, it wouldn't. It by no means would kill us to shut down for a week or two, right? Mostly in the form of payroll, like if we had to pay everybody, right?
right.
Because
Yeah,
payroll's high. We pay our staff very well. Um, that's where it would hit us pretty good
the
is the
payroll. Yeah.
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 But I mean, we could do it. I guess we wouldn't market. We wouldn't spend any money on marketing for those couple weeks.
We did that one time. We shut down for a while and we turned off like Google ads. And that was a mistake, man. When you turn them back on, it's got to
Ta-
relearn. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
it
It's
takes a
not
while.
instantaneous. Yeah, and yeah. So you got to keep it on. You got to keep the ads on life support if you do, the Google stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You still need
You
to
have
answer the phones. You can't turn the phones off, right? You
nope.
still got to confirm. Do you confirm? Do you confirm meetings? Do you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you still got to do that. So
yeah. We send them. They get text messages, emails, and we call them the day before.
yeah.
So we're just bombarding them with reminders.
Yeah. I listened to your other podcast that you had done, and you were talking about, that's it's not really for them to answer, it's so that you're top of mind, reminding them, even if they don't. I thought that was very good advice. I thought that because it's real easy to think that it's not working if people aren't calling back.
Yep.
But in fact, it really is working. I thought that was really good insight.
Yeah, I really learned that from Postcard Mania. Yeah, it was funny. I would, as a sales rep there, I would get people call up and say, "This shit didn't work. Right? This didn't work." And the guy's mailing like 10,000 posts. He's mailing a good quantity, right? He's mailing a lot of. I'm like, okay. And then okay, how much before you started? How much was your revenue? Right? How much is it now? And all of them, it was like the revenue went up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you're gonna stop doing. Okay, you don't stop anything. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you don't think, right? If your revenue is going up, you better not drop a damn thing that you've been doing since it went up.
So why would they report that it's not working?
Because they say they didn't get calls from it.
Yeah, but that's it's really hard to attribute where their first touch, because so I'm really digging into all the analytics on this these days. And what I'm finding is that existing customers are Googling us and clicking an ad to call us about a question they have on their, because we show up at the top, right? So they don't want to go search for the number. They know that if they do a Google search, they can just click us, and we pay for it. And we pay for it.
Yeah, we pay for it.
But it's really hard to attribute what the first touch was, because that may not be the form they fill out or the number they call.
Right. Yeah, they get a postcard in the mail, and then they go online and they search your website.
Yeah, they see an ad, they click the ad, they go to your website, and then they call the number on the website, and that's different than what was on the postcard. So
and then they tell the receptionist, "Oh, I heard about you from this," and it's like they're not thinking, or how'd you find us? Oh, I found you on Google.
Yeah. So.
No, you didn't find me on Google. I spent a lot of money to send you a postcard.
They don't know. They have no idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool, man. Well,
good talk.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I get to talk to the Joe G, man. Awesome. All right. I'd love to know if you try anything out on the postcards. I'd love to know what.
I'll let you know. I'm going to talk with Ashley about it, because now I think we're going to get that space. Unlike some of the people that want to think about whether they're going to buy a service or not, I don't think about things very long, and I think this conversation probably sealed the deal. And
what's the cost of not having that space?
Right.
Yeah, what's the cost of not doing the seminars?
Well, that's what I've thought about. I see these guys that they're over there looking at it the other day. It's like, okay, if they get it, the whole building's full except for that space. If they get it, and then in a year from now, 6 months from now, I got 10 more employees, where the hell am I going to put them?
Yeah, we got that problem too. But you have parking. You have enough parking for
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's tightened up. A Pilates studio moved in downstairs, and another gym did too. So it's gotten a little bit busier. They have a parking lot that's right behind the building, and then one across the street. No one uses the one across the street, but we can.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck. Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Yeah, man. I'll definitely let you know. Definitely got to do the seminars. It only makes sense too.
Cool. All right, man.
All right, Scott. It was awesome talking to you, and talk again sometime.
Yeah, great.
See ya.
Bye-bye.